This is the news that you've been waiting for. Home prices in Rapid City are starting to come down. Hi everybody, I'm Tristan Emond with Mindful Living Realty, a local realtor right here in Rapid City, South Dakota, the gateway to the Black Hills. If you've been thinking about buying a property in Rapid City and have been waiting for those prices to come down, now's the time to start thinking about maybe it's time to jump in. But before we get into the specific numbers, let's talk about the Rapid City real estate market as a whole. What we're seeing right now is homes are staying on the market a little bit longer, as it seems like fewer buyers are out there because of the higher interest rates, because of everything going on in the economy, whatever else is going on with buyers right now. With fewer buyers out there looking at properties and, buyers being a little more picky now, sellers are having to keep their homes on the market a little bit longer and, keep on chopping those prices down to bring it to the point where a buyer is willing to pay. We're seeing our average days of market around 40 days on the market, which of course is considerably more than it was back in the 2021, 2022, 2023 days. Now, obviously this means that some are selling considerably under 40 days. We've seen some that will sell relatively quickly. If it's the right place, in the right area, for the right price, a buyer looking in that area could be jumping on it relatively quickly. However, some homes are having troubles getting sold already. I've talked with one agent who is the fourth agent trying to get this home sold. As of September 1st of this year, there were 678 homes active on the market compared to around 500 in 2024. Both these active and days on market numbers give me kind of a 2018-2019 vibe. We're kind of getting back to the way things were pre-pandemic. On September 1st of 2018, there were about 650 homes on the market at an average days of 35 days on the market. And on September 1st, 2019, there were 600 homes on the market at about an average of 30 days on the market. But I'm not going to tell you what the average price point was in these times because you just don't really want to know. I mean, you do, but you don't. So let's jump into these numbers. Single family, average home sale price over the summer of the past 3 months. In June, that average sale price was $420,983. In July, that went down to $401,685. And August, $367,300. In August of 2024, that average sale price was about $411,000, giving us a 10% decrease year over year in home prices in our area. However, in the townhome and condo market, we're seeing the opposite effect. In June, those average sale prices were $329,000. That went up to about $332,000 in July and almost $350,000 in August, which is hanging right in there from last year's numbers at $350,000 for average sale price in the townhome and condo market. All right, let's talk about those mortgage interest rates, which a lot of people are kind of waiting on to see if there's going to be any relief in those. Fortunately, today we saw a drop of 6.13%, which is the lowest we've seen in quite a while. Plus those VA and FHA loans, they dropped below 6% at about 5.9%. The economists are a little bit split on whether or not we'll continue to see the rates go down or if they're kind of stay the same, about right at that 6%. But most economists figure that this 6%-ish number is probably going to be the new normal. Fortunately, even being in the 6 number instead of being at the 7 number can save you up to like $400 on a $500,000 home per month. So we're starting to see that purchasing power come back into the hands of the buyers. Mortgage rate update as I'm editing my video in my Oregon Trail t-shirt. So breaking news, the Fed just lowered the Fed rate 0.25%. Rumors are that they expect to cut that rate 2 more times before the end of the year to maybe a total of 0.5%. Now, this Fed rate is not the mortgage interest rate. There are a number of other factors that go into that mortgage interest rate. So while there's no guarantee that the mortgage interest rate is going to come down with that Fed rate cut, there is a bigger probability now that that cut has been made. Again, we'll see what happens in the coming months to see what happens to our mortgage interest rate. So the question remains, should you wait a little bit longer to see if those interest rates come down even further before you buy a house? If you're thinking about buying a property in Rapid City and you're in a position to do so now, you've got a good job, you've got the credit in the line, there might be a good time to start the process of reaching out with a lender and talking with them about your options. Timing the market is a very difficult thing to do. No matter what economist or bank is saying it's going to do this or going to do that, we really just don't know what the future might hold. Plus, if the interest rates are in the mid-5s as we get into spring, I would expect to see the buyers to start coming back into the market. We start having a lot more competition and maybe even get in some bidding wars, causing those home prices to go up yet again. As we get closer to the holidays and into the wintertime, now might be a great time as a buyer for you to get into a property at a pretty decent price. Right now, sellers are negotiating. They're reducing their prices. They're offering deals to buyers to get into their properties and buy because they're ready to move on. Plus, at this time, you have more homes to look at and a little more power than you had 3-4 years ago. If you're thinking about selling your home, is now a good time to sell, especially as we're getting into winter of the next few months? This question really depends more upon you, what your needs are, and when you really want to be moving out of town or moving into a different house. While we do see fewer sales into the holiday season and into January, the buyers that are in the market at that time are more serious. So it'll be really important to price your home correctly and be patient enough to wait for the right buyer to come along to buy your property. And especially now, as we're definitely in a balanced market and maybe edging towards the buyer's market, that you do everything that you can to make your home look as nice as possible. I know this is what I say all the time, but it remains true. The more things that you can do to make your home look nicer, the better chance a buyer's going to walk in your home, say, I love this place, and then want to put an offer on your property. Buyers are watching my videos. They're watching the news. They know they have more choices. They know they have more options. So if they see things that are maybe a problem or an issue or something they don't want to deal with, they're just saying next and moving to the next one. We've definitely seen the market shift a little bit. However, it's not nearly as bad as some of the scare stories you hear down in Florida and some of the other big cities that blew up during COVID. I wouldn't expect home prices to drop on another 25%. That's just not something that usually happens in our area. We usually have a pretty stable real estate market. And as the new B-21 bomber mission of the Ellsworth materializes more and more, we're going to start seeing more of those people coming in and take up those housing units. I was at a city housing meeting this morning, and through some crazy AI technology, they're predicting an additional about 18,000 people that are coming to our area between now and 2030. We've seen a whole lot of apartment buildings being built in the past few years, really alleviating some of that need for rental properties. But the single family new construction numbers, while still holding their own, are down considerably from 250 in like 2022 to under 100 here in 2025. So as we see Rapid City and the Black Hills area grow, those people coming in, we could see that supply get eaten up pretty quickly by the demand. The best thing to do at this time, if you're thinking about selling your property or getting into a new one, buying a property, is to have a consultation with us. Let's talk about a plan for you and see where you're at in your life. It's not so much a matter of now's a great time to buy or now's a great time to sell. It's more about, is it a great time to buy or sell for you? Scan this QR code right here, and my contact information will pop into your phone, or all my contact information will be below. Let's chat about what's great for you in Rapid City real estate. Thanks so much for watching. Have an amazing day. Remember, love you live.